Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Student World Talks. My name is Lean, and today I will be the host for this very special episode. Now, why is it special? Because we have a university that is located not only in a destination that you guys love, but also a destination that you always ask about and really want to study there. So, it is obviously Canada. But this university is not only located in Canada, but also has so many other unique aspects and opportunities to offer to you guys. But I will tell you all about that in a minute. First, I would love to start by asking you guys, where are you watching us from? Just so we can talk together and make this more like a conversation, make it casual, because this is honestly what the Student World Talks is about. It is for us to communicate with you guys, to see what you guys want to know about studying abroad so that we can help you and get the information for you guys so you can reach your goals. So I can already see we have a lot of people watching us, and I can see a lot of comments. So thank you guys for sharing. We have Okafor from Nigeria. We have also Yumna from Indonesia. We have from Colombia. We have Leila from Turkey. We have Grace from Nigeria as well. Arfat from Bangladesh. We have Muhammad from Jordan, and we have Shelly from Kenya. Wow, we have people from all over the world, and I love to see that. This is really exciting. I am personally right now, I am in Canada. I also came here as an international student. I wanted to pursue my dream. So I know what you guys are going through, and I would, on behalf of the student world, I would love to help you guys do the same. Before telling you guys about today's episode, I would first like to remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you're always updated about the information and the videos that we are posting, because again, they are all entirely focused on studying abroad and finding the perfect destination, the perfect program, the perfect university for you guys so that you can accomplish your goals. So now finally I can tell you guys what today is about. So today we have a university from Canada, as I mentioned, and it is Carleton University. Now, why is this university so unique? First, it is located in Ottawa, which is Canada's capital city. And Carleton University has the hands on experience in the classroom, which is very beneficial, and you will know why today. Carleton University also offers exceptional student support, and it is among the top 5 comprehensive universities in Canada. Now, you will know way more information and facts about this amazing university, but let's first watch this video together.
You're born, everything is new and different. But over time, sameness takes over. Lessons become habits, become doctrine. It's easier not to question the way things are. But there is another way. A world that's propelled by the past, not held back by it. To create it, we have to challenge what we think we know. Defy received ideas and conventions. Leave fear behind and move beyond intention alone. We're focused on driving impact in the world, creating inclusive and sustainable change. The problems of today won't be solved by the thinking and doing of yesterday. So we're starting now. Challenging our understanding of business and politics. Challenging boundaries with new discoveries and technologies. Challenging our country's history and working towards a more just and equitable future, together in a good way. Because when we challenge the way things have always been done, we can do things we've never dreamed of.
Amazing. I'm personally very excited to learn more about this incredible university. So let's finally welcome a representative from Carleton University, Emily, here with us today.
Awesome. Hello, Lean. Thank you so much for having me today.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for being here. How do you feel being here with the students and seeing students from literally all over the world?
I am so excited to be here today. I know that I've done this with you on the Student World Talks a few times, and every single time it's so awesome to see everyone. I'm seeing in the comments that we have people from all over the world, which is super awesome. I even visited a couple of those places myself, such as Lebanon and Jordan, and I'm very happy to see everyone joining us. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Amazing. Thank you, Emily. So, guys, we have Emily today to help you get as much information as you want about Carleton University so that you can study there. So, please keep your questions coming in the comments about programs, about whatever you guys want to know. So, this comment section is for you guys to talk to us. Perfect. So who is Carleton University? First, actually, I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the students, and also what do you do for Carleton University?
Yeah. So, like Lean said, my name is Emily, and I work at Carleton University. I'm an international admissions and recruitment officer. So, my job is to recruit international students. So, sometimes I'm doing events like these where I get to talk to people from all over the world. And then sometimes I'm actually traveling and going to different countries. So, the regions that I usually travel to are the Middle East and North Africa, which is really cool. I'm also an admissions officer. So if you apply to Carleton, I might be the person to look at your application and to send you an offer. So if you end up applying to Carleton, I strongly encourage you to send me an email and I can share that with you, or perhaps Carla could share that with you in the chat, because I would be happy to look at anyone's application who has applied. I am also a graduate of Carleton. I graduated in 2018, so almost 5 years ago now. And I studied criminology and criminal justice. And I was pretty active within the Carleton community in terms of, working there as a student, volunteering as a student, and just making sure that I was able to leave my impact and get involved. So I'm very involved with Carleton, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I think I am a pretty good expert, so I think I'd be able to answer most questions.
That is amazing. So, as you guys heard, we have an expert here to really help you accomplish your dreams. We do have a question asking if we are going to talk about multiple universities. So, today we are going to be talking about Carleton University and everything that it offers. Okay, so the first question is, who is Carleton University and what are some of the unique facts that you can share with the students?
Yeah, so Carleton University is a medium-sized university compared to other universities in Canada. We have about 32,000 students, and we are located in Ottawa, which, as Lean mentioned, is the capital city of Canada. We have a very diverse student population. We have students who are from over 165 different countries from around the world, and about 15% of our population are international students. So we're very diverse, and we really like to celebrate that. Um, we're located. We have what we call a self-contained campus. So you might know of some universities that are spread out over a city, or perhaps they're spread out over like a downtown area. But Carleton is not exactly like that. We're about a 10 to 15-minute drive from the downtown core of Ottawa. And we have everything we need right here on campus. So that means that you don't see anyone like driving through campus just on their way to work. Everyone you see on our campus is a Carleton member. So you might see your professors, your fellow classmates, or different staff. We also really pride ourselves on the amount of student support and the student involvement that we offer to everyone. So if you're interested in joining an academic society, maybe you're an engineering student and you want to be in like a society with other engineering students, we absolutely have that opportunity for you. Maybe you want to play a sport, or maybe you play an instrument, or you want to, if you really like video games, there is always going to be a club or a society or some sort of group that you can be a part of, because that's what we really value is community at Carleton.
Amazing. Thank you, Emily, for this great introduction about the university. And we already have a question asking about what kind of courses does the university offer. And that's great because what we are going to start with today. But first, I would like to ask you guys, what is your dream program? What do you want to study abroad? Share with us in the comments so that to see if Carleton University offers this program. So keep sharing your goals and what you want to study in the future with us, and we will be reading them. Okay, perfect. So, what kind of degrees do you offer at Carleton University?
Great question. So we have, oh, I already see someone says cognitive science. And yes, we do have a cognitive science program. So at Carleton, we have 5 different faculties. And basically, a faculty is, you can think of it as like an academic, like a house, and then it houses all of our programs. So we've got 5 faculties, so 5 general areas, and then we've got 22 degree programs that fall within those faculties. So first, we have our Faculty of Engineering and Design. I can see that someone has said building engineering, computer engineering. Engineering is a really popular one for us. So we have our Bachelor of Engineering. We also have within the School of Engineering, we have a few design programs. So for those of you who are interested in building and creating, maybe you enjoy the math piece, but you also really want to add your own creative touch. We have a few different design schools. We have architecture. We have industrial design. We have media production and design, and then we have a Bachelor of Information Technology. Now, all of these programs, you can dive even deeper into them and choose a very specific concentration or stream, which is really cool. So that's engineering, our Faculty of Engineering and Design. We also have our Faculty of Science. And within the Faculty of Science, we have our computer science program, our science program, which has a ton of different topics in science like physics, chemistry, biochemistry, neuroscience, lots of programs within there. It also houses our Bachelor of Health Sciences. So for those of you looking to go into the field of medicine or healthcare, and then we have our Bachelor of Mathematics. Then the next one that we have is our Faculty of Public Affairs. So anything related to politics, public affairs and policy management, criminology, sociology, anything like that, economics would all, we also have global and international studies, would all fall within there. Then we have our Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. So we've got a ton of different programs. We have psychology, our cognitive science program would fit into this. What else do we have? We have anthropology, English, communication and media studies, journalism. And then our last faculty is our Sprott School of Business. So if you're looking to go into business, we have 2 different business degrees. We have our Bachelor of Commerce with a bunch of different majors that you can choose from, like marketing and accounting. And then we have our Bachelor of International Business. So that was a lot of information, but hopefully I gave you a sense of what different programs we offer. I am seeing that a lot of people are interested in engineering, which is fantastic because we have 13 different types of engineering. I'm seeing international relations, which would probably fit into international business. So I can see that everyone is interested in lots of different things, and it's very likely that we have what you're looking for.
That is amazing. That is a lot of options. So it's great to know that there is something for everyone. And thank you guys for sharing with us what you want to study. And hopefully you have heard your program here. And maybe we can also we can also include in the comments the list of the programs or something of the website, so that you guys can also go and check for yourself if you can find your program there. So we will do that. But there's a lot of comments telling us about what you guys want to study, and that is great. So please keep sharing with us. And also, if you have any more questions, this is the perfect place to do it. So keep your questions coming. Now, what is so unique about the programs at Carleton University?
So something that is very unique to us is that we have lots of hands-on learning opportunities. So traditionally, university was very academic focused. It always has been very academic focused, and we are. But we have also introduced lots of hands-on learning. So that means you're not just going to be sitting in the classroom learning, but you actually get opportunities to put those theories and put what you're learning into practice. For example, We have, if you're an engineering student, you'll be working on different projects. You're actually going to get the opportunity to build and design, work with your peers, work with your professors on different projects rather than just learning about them. You're actually going to be doing it yourself, which is really, really cool. And that's going to be the case for any program like that. So engineering, architecture, industrial design, all of those. And then also, because we're located in the capital city of Canada, we have access to lots of different things that you wouldn't have access to anywhere else in the country. So, for example, if you're a student studying, global and international studies, or political science, or public affairs and policy management, or journalism. Journalism is one of our really big ones. Our journalism students, for a lot of their classes, are required to actually go out into the real world and cover different events or write an article about different the different things that are happening in the news. They're expected to be kind of, aware of what's going on. And because we have the Parliament buildings right here in Ottawa, we have our Prime Minister, we have our whole government body here. We have access to politicians, and these politicians will often come to our university, give guest lectures. Like I mentioned, our journalism students will have the opportunity to interview them. Sorry if you see my cat; he's making his way onto my lap. So what I was saying was that we're able to meet with professionals in our city who are really important in terms of making government decisions, and all sorts of things like that. So we really, really emphasize learning by doing as well.
That is really great to know. And there's a question that the students want to know everything about studying in Canada, and that is great because this is exactly what we're doing today. After talking about the programs, we will go on to talk about Ottawa and the fees and all you guys want to know. But first, let's focus on the programs now that Carleton University offers. Which programs are known at this university?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say, so journalism, I did mention, is actually a really, really big program for us. We were the very first university in Canada to have a journalism program. And we also have the largest school of journalism in the country. So that's a really big one for us. And because, like I said, we're in Ottawa, the capital city, our journalism students have opportunities like no other. Another really big program that is popular, especially amongst international students, is our engineering program. We have 13 different streams of engineering, including biomedical engineering, aerospace engineering. That one is very, very popular. We've got mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, sustainable and renewable energy engineering. Those are just to name a few. And then I would say another huge one for us is computer science. We get lots of people interested in computer science, lots of applications each year. It's a really great program. And I will also just mention something really cool about our computer science program is that we have a partnership with Shopify. I'm not sure if you folks know what Shopify is, but if you don't, I definitely encourage you to look it up. It's a very large e-commerce platform. It's a very big tech company, and the headquarters are here in Ottawa. And students who apply to the computer science program can also apply to do to participate in something called the Dev Degree program, which would mean that they get to do a part-time internship with Shopify, which is paid throughout their degree, and Shopify will pay for all of the students' tuition. So it's a huge benefit. So if you're looking into computer science, I highly recommend you look at this Shopify opportunity, which is called the Dev Degree program.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. Thank you for mentioning that. And we did see a lot of students who are interested in computer science and engineering in general. But I'm also curious, guys, if you are interested in journalism, because as Emily was saying, it is a very popular program at Carleton University. So let us know if you guys are interested in the journalism program. And Emily, as you were mentioning that Carleton University really focuses on the hands-on learning method and learning by doing. So can you give us some examples of the hands-on experiences in the classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. So for engineering students, in your fourth year, you get to participate in something called a capstone project. In fact, it's not just you get to, it's a requirement. for you to do that. So you get to choose, as an engineering student, you get to choose what project you want to work on. You get together, you form a group with some of your classmates. I would say usually it's probably about 4 people working together. And you are doing it under the supervision of your professor. So you you ask your professor, you run your plan by them, and then you actually get to build or create whatever it is that you want to do. For example, we had some aerospace engineering students build a flight simulator, which is really cool. One of my actual friends who studied biomedical engineering, he developed a sensor so that people who are not able to, people who are paralyzed and not able to like have full motion or range of motion with their hands, could move a cursor using either their eyes or using their mouth, like by speaking, to find different ways for people who are paralyzed to be able to still use technology. So we really focus on real world problems or real world issues, and helping to make an impact that way. Some of our communication and media studies students will be taking different courses in events. So one of our 4th-year courses focuses on running an event. So they actually get to choose an event to run. Usually it's for the Carleton community, and they're in charge of doing everything. So booking the venue and actually putting on the event, finding entertainment. So whatever it is that you are studying, you'll have the opportunity to do something like that. Also, I would say the biggest way for you to get hands-on experience is by doing co-op. So for those of you who are not aware of what co-op is, it stands for cooperative education. Most of our programs have a co-op option. So this means that once you complete your first 2 years of your program, you can start doing co-op. And what this is it's paid full-time work. So it's usually you have to complete either 3 terms or 4 terms, depending on what program you're in. And 1 term is 4 months. So it's equivalent to 1 semester. So you might complete your first 2 years of your program, and then after that, you can do your first co-op work term. The nice thing about this is that it pays you, so it helps you to finance your studies, but also it's giving you real life work in the field that you're studying. So you actually get some experience, you get to network, meet professionals who are working in the field that you're interested in, and it usually leads to full-time work after you graduate. So if your program offers co-op, I highly recommend you take advantage of that, because it's such a great way to get a lot of hands-on experience.
Great. That really sounds like a very fun way to learn. So that is really amazing. We also, I saw a lot of students were sharing that they would love to study psychology. And as you mentioned, that it is available at Carleton University. So would you like to tell the students more about this program?
Yeah, absolutely. Psychology is a very popular one. In our psychology program, you can actually choose to specialize if you want. It's not a requirement, but you can choose to specialize in a particular area of psychology if you'd like. For example, we have social psychology, developmental psychology, cognitive psychology, and then a few more. So if you really want to get very specific, you can do that. And if you want to become a psychologist in Canada, you do need to do a PhD. So that means you would do your bachelor's degree and then a master's degree and then your PhD. And Carleton has fantastic psychology programs all through. So it's not uncommon for our psychology students to get to know their professors, find a professor that they really like working with, and then continue on to do their master's with that professor. Psychology, actually, I should mention, we have 2 different psychology programs. We have our Bachelor of Arts with a major in psychology, and then our Bachelor of Science with a major in psychology. Now, it's a little bit obvious what the 2 differences are. The Bachelor of Science Psychology focuses more on the science side of it. So you'll be taking courses in neuroscience. You'll be taking some biology courses, some chemistry courses. You'll really be focusing on the science piece, so learning about the brain and how it works and those processes. Whereas if you're not so much interested in the science part of it, you would probably be more interested in the Bachelor of Arts Psychology, which is more behavior focused. And there's no math required, there's no science required. So it's really about, which one you want to do. And our Bachelor of Arts Psychology has a co-op option. So we have a lot of our psychology students doing their co-op at various companies or organizations here in Ottawa. There's a large mental health hospital called the Royal Ottawa that has our psychology students doing their co-op there. Some of our psychology students work with victims. Some of them work like in the criminal justice sector. Some of them work in like with youth. So there's lots of opportunities for you as a psychology student to explore those areas if that's something you're interested in.
Perfect. That is really great to know. And you did touch on the co-op cooperative education as well, which is really great because students can study and at the same time gain this work experience in Canada. So this is great. So can you give a more example to the students of what kind of jobs or roles they can get as a co-op while
Yeah.
studying?
Yeah. So first of all, the way that co-op works is if you are a co-op student, you get access to a database of available jobs. And those jobs will be like the options available to you will be based on the program that you're in. For example, if you're studying computer science, you will have your database of jobs that are looking for a student in computer science. You won't see any of the other jobs that will be available for a psychology student, for example. We have partners with hundreds of different companies, both within Ottawa and outside of Ottawa. So we have, I'm just trying to think of some solid examples. We have a lot of students who are working in hospitals. So this includes our students who are studying in the Bachelor of Science, whether it is working on the technology side of things. Some of our biomedical engineering students are doing their co-op in hospitals or research facilities, trying to help doctors or engineers come up with different technology for different illnesses. We have some of our co-op students doing, actually a lot of our co-op students doing their placement at different tech companies. So we have a very, very large tech company population here in Ottawa, with over 1,000 different tech companies. So a lot of our computer science students, a lot of our information technology students, lots of computer engineering students will do their placements with those. Some examples are, Shopify. Another example would be, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I have a list that I normally look at, but I'm not seeing it right now. But Microsoft is one of them. And so we also have a lot of our business students doing their co-op at those tech companies as well, because all businesses need people in marketing, all businesses need people in accounting. And we also have some very large accounting firms here in Ottawa. So we have Ernst & Young, we have Deloitte, we have PwC. So a lot of our business students, accounting, finance, marketing, all of those will do their co-op at some of those really big accounting firms. We do have a lot of students doing co-op at with the government of Canada, but I know that there's some limitations. If you're an international student and you don't have permanent residency, then that might not be an option. But there's still lots of opportunities like downtown and as well outside of Ottawa. So you could actually do your co-op in a different city. Because you're not studying at the same time that you're doing co-op, you're doing full-time work. Some students will go to Toronto, or they'll go to even a different province to do their co-op term. And then they'll come back to Ottawa when it's time for them to go back to school. So if you find somewhere that you really want to do your co-op at and it's not in Ottawa, you can absolutely apply to work there.
Amazing. That is really great. So, guys, would you be interested to work to get a co-op while studying at Carleton University? Let us know in the comments. And as Emily mentioned, it is the opportunity to work full time and get paid at the same time and work in the field that is related to what you are studying. So this is really great for you to learn a lot about what you're studying by also working. So let us know in the comments if this is something that interests you. So, can international students work part-time while studying at Carleton University?
Yes, absolutely. Canada recently changed its requirements. So previously, all international students were allowed to work up to 20 hours a week. That was the maximum. They've now removed that. So theoretically, you could work as much as you want. Usually we don't recommend working more than 20 hours per week because school can be, you need to make sure you have time for your studies. But absolutely, international students can definitely get a part-time job. And we have lots of opportunities for work for you on our campus. So we have lots of opportunities for students to work, in residence, which I did, where you get to live in residence and work with students as a mentor. We have opportunities to work at our library, at our various restaurants and cafes and different locations on our campus, in our bookstore. You can be a campus tour guide after your first year. You can be a student ambassador, which means you help out with events. You get paid to go there and basically talk about your own experience. There's so many different job opportunities. You can work as a research assistant in a lab. You could work in our athletics department. We need people, supervising our fitness center and working the front desk at athletics. So those are only just a few jobs that I mentioned. There are so many opportunities that are available specifically for students on our campus because we want to make sure that our students are able to make some money and work if they'd like. But that being said, there are so many opportunities for students to work part-time off campus as well. So there's lots of restaurants nearby. There's lots of different retail stores that are, looking to hire students as well, that are a very short walk away from campus. So wherever you're trying to look for a job, there's going to be opportunities for you as a student.
Awesome. So this is great news, guys. You can work part-time while studying at Carleton University, and you can work whatever job that interests you. So this is really great for you to get to know more the culture in Canada, also make some money, and practice the language, and so much more. So this is really great. And do you offer any employment services at Carleton University?
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually, not many people ask that. We do offer. So we have our career services office, which is specifically to help people with anything related to building your career. So that includes if you need help creating your resume or editing your resume. Our staff also help you prep for interviews. So you could do a mock interview with our staff members. They have a job board. So if you're looking for a job, they have different postings available. They host different career fairs where people from different organizations will come, set up a booth. You can go around and chat with them. It's good for networking. You can even bring your resume and give it to them. But the career services office is really there for you to help you start to build your career in whatever way we can support you. So definitely, it's free. It's free for all students to use, just like any service. So I definitely recommend if you're looking for a job or you just want some tips or help with, interview or cover letter or resume help. They're such a great resource for that. They also help if you're in your later years of university and you're looking to go to graduate school. They can also help you with preparing your application for a master's degree. So they're really there to help you in whatever you need in that sense.
That's really great. And guys, are you curious to know anything about studying in Ottawa, whether it was activities to do there, whatever you guys want to know about studying in Ottawa? Please let us know in the comments, because now that we have talked about the programs at Carleton University and we have also talked about employment and work, you now have the opportunity to learn more about studying in Ottawa and also to know more about the campus of Carleton University. So let us know what you are curious about in the comments. So Ottawa is actually the number one choice for newcomers in Canada. Can you tell the students more about the city?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ottawa is, first of all, I'm very glad to hear that it's the number one choice. And I have heard that before. And I think probably a big reason for that is because Ottawa is a very multicultural and diverse city. We are the capital. We have people who come here and they are new to Canada. We have people from all over the world. And speaking from experience, Ottawa is a very welcoming and inclusive city. So I did not grow up in Ottawa. I grew up about 6 hours away from Ottawa in a small town. And so for me, Ottawa seems big, although to some of you, I'm sure it seems small. Our population is about 1 million people. And so to me, that's very big, but I know that maybe some of you are from cities where you have, 5 million people or even more. But the most important kind of thing about Ottawa is that it's a very, very inclusive. We have two official languages. We have English and French both as our languages. So if you speak either of those, that's fantastic. You'll probably hear people speaking both languages. And also, Ottawa is a very beautiful city. So if you've never been or you haven't looked at any pictures, I definitely recommend that you search some up. We have the world famous Rideau Canal, which is a really long canal that flows through our city. And in the summer, you can rent a canoe or a kayak or a paddleboard and go for a paddle along the canal. And then in the winter, it actually freezes and it becomes the world's largest outdoor skating rink. So our city is a very active city. People like to be out and about doing stuff. We have multiple green spaces. So we have multiple national parks that are and beautiful landscapes, especially where the Parliament buildings are. We also have a number of national museums and galleries. So if you're interested in art or culture or anything like that, there's no shortage of museums and galleries for you to visit. And then you'll always see people out, no matter if it's winter or summer. You'll see people biking, running, walking. Sometimes in the winter, you'll see people snowshoeing or cross country skiing. So it just makes for a very friendly city, and a very inclusive one where we all want to welcome everyone. And yeah, it's a very nice community city.
Beautiful. That's really great to hear. And we do have questions related to Ottawa. There's a student asking about the expenses of living in Ottawa. Can you give an idea to the students about that?
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about living off campus versus living on campus. If you decide, and I'll let you know that if you are a student who is coming from high school, you will receive a guaranteed offer of residence. So you'll get to live in our on-campus housing. You don't have to; it's not mandatory, but you are guaranteed a spot. The cost of living, if you're living in residence for the year, is approximately 12,000 Canadian dollars, and that includes all of your food. So it includes your housing and all of your meals, which, by the way, is unlimited. It's really great. Um, if you are living not in residence, your cost of living can really depend. So there are a lot of different neighborhoods that have lots of student housing surrounding Carleton's campus. And you can find some places where you can rent a room for $500 a month. However, if you're looking at like an apartment or sharing a house with less people, sometimes it can be a little bit more expensive, like $700 a month. So a lot of the time students will get together with friends. If you have 3 or 4 people living in a house, you can usually keep your costs a little bit lower and be around $600 or $700 a month. But essentially, the less people that you live with, the more expensive it will be for you. But just to give you a sense, Ottawa is not nearly as expensive as a big city like Toronto or Vancouver. So it's very reasonable. It's very reasonable.
Great. And we have a question asking if do international students get a spot in the housing at the campus?
Yes, yeah. So that includes international students. Like I mentioned, if you are coming directly from high school, meaning if you have not attended any college or university studies, you will be definitely guaranteed a spot in residence for your first year. I always recommend that if you have your guaranteed spot in residence, that you take it. And there's a few really great reasons for this. Number one being it's super convenient because you're just a short walk away from all of your classes. In addition to that, you don't have to cook any meals for yourself because everything is made for you. We have one cafeteria for all of our students in residence. And it's unlimited. So you could go in as many times as you want throughout the day. You can stay as long as you want. It's buffet style, all you care to eat. So it's truly unlimited, and they have so many great options, lots of healthy options, lots of international options, and they will accommodate any sort of dietary restriction or need out there. And then also another great reason to live in residence is that you get a great opportunity to meet other students who are also in their first year. So you'll be living on a floor with lots of other students. You'll get to meet international students, perhaps even some people from the same country that you're from. You'll get to meet students from Ottawa and from Canada, which is great because they can show you around the city. They can kind of show you the ropes. And then you'll get to meet people who are in your program as well as people who are not in your program. So living in residence it has huge benefits, and I always really recommend that you choose to do that, because you do get a guaranteed spot in residence if you're coming from high school.
Awesome. And there's someone asking about the cost of accommodation on campus.
So it's about $12,000 per year. Now we have a few different types of rooms. So we have, most of our buildings have traditional style rooms, which means that you do not have a kitchen. You have your room, and then you have a bathroom. But we do have a few buildings that are suite style. So that means that you have your bedroom, but then you also have a small kitchen, as well as like a living room area. So if you want to live in a traditional room, your cost is going to be a little bit lower than if you end up living in a suite style room. So if you're living in a traditional room, it's going to be about $12,000 for the year. And if you're living in a suite, then it's going to be about 13 or 14, I would say $13,000 per year. And then we also have like double rooms and single rooms. So if you're living in a double room, it means that you're sharing the room with one other person. If you're living in a single room, you're obviously not sharing the room. It's completely to yourself. The single rooms are slightly more expensive than the double rooms. So all in all, it ranges from approximately $12,000 to $13,000 per year.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. And there's a question from a student asking, how is the relationship between the students there at the campus?
That's a really good question. From speaking from my experience and what I see every day, the relationships with students are very strong. And I think something that Carleton focuses on through our professors and our staff and our students is creating a very positive and safe and inclusive space for everyone. So you'll meet students who are very similar to you, but you'll also meet students who are very different, probably students who are from a completely different country, have a completely different background, maybe have very different interests. But everyone, no matter what differences they have, everyone really strives to create a really inclusive and positive space on campus, which is something that I really appreciate. I was able to make friends who were totally different than me. I did not study engineering, but I made friends who were studying engineering, who were really musically talented, or maybe students who were very good with art, and were very different than me. But no matter what differences you have or similarities, the Carleton community is a very, very inclusive one. And the nice thing about that helps with relationship building with our students is there are lots of different events and initiatives that happen throughout the year. Some of them are specifically for resident students. So I actually lived in residence for 3 out of my 4 years on campus, and I kept coming back because I just absolutely loved the many opportunities to connect with other students. There would be different events specifically for my building. For example, one in the like towards the beginning of the year, we had a big game of capture the flag outside, which is like, I don't know if any of you have heard of it before, but it's kind of like a giant game of like hide and seek with a flag. And then also there's different events that get held for people in residence, such as the roommate game. So you could sign up with your roommate or someone who's on your floor. And basically it's this big event that goes on, and you get quizzed on how well you know each other. And they give out really awesome prizes like Beats headphones, iPads, tickets to different sports games here in Ottawa, and really cool stuff like that. But for those of you who are not living in residence, or even if you are living in residence and you want to take part in some bigger campus events, there are also opportunities to do that. So we have various movie nights, various events that take place that are program specific. So for example, there's the Psychology Student Society will host a formal every year, like a formal event. One of my favorite events that I would go to every month was once a month they would hold Epic Bingo in our university center. And they called it Epic Bingo because the prizes were pretty epic. They had some TVs one time, which were pretty cool. And to me, the best part of it was just getting to go and relax and spend time with my friends, and also meet other students who were eager to just get involved in the Carleton community. So this was a very long-winded answer to a simple question, but the relationship with students, I think, is it's just so unique and so diverse, and it's really, really strong and beautiful.
That is really amazing. It sounds very eventful and like a very strong and a fun community and environment as well. So that is really great.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. So we know that Carleton University is known for the exceptional student support. So other than employment services, what are the other services that are offered, maybe related to, I can see here a question about the insurance or even immigration matters.
Yeah, great question. We have a variety of different support. Something that you as international students will probably really want to focus on or use is our International Student Services Office. We call it ISSO for short. And within the ISSO, we have certified immigration advisors. So if you have an offer to Carleton and you have questions about applying for your study permit, or just about applying for a visa in general, you want some guidance, they are there to support you and help you out with that. Um, the ISSO also offers different services such as airport pickup. So when you arrive, meeting you at the airport and bringing you to campus, as well as they have an orientation package that you can do that's called iStart. And this is in the week before everything else sort of begins, before classes begin. There's a specific international student orientation where they help you to get to know the campus. They give you a campus tour. There's different peer mentors who will show you around Ottawa, show you how to use the bus system and the transit system. There are also mentorship programs for in terms of academics. So if you want to be paired with someone who is in your program in a higher year than you can be paired with them and they can be your mentor. We also have lots of mental health support. So I know that someone asked about health insurance. That can be that can be something that the ISSO helps you to determine. But health insurance is available for international students. International students also have access to our it's called health and counseling services. We have doctors, we have nurses, and we have mental health professionals as well. All of it is covered. So international students are more than welcome to use those services on campus. So those are some really big ones that I definitely encourage all students to use and to take advantage of because you have access to it and it's there. Another really great resource that we have is called the Center for Student Academic Support. And we call them CSAS for short. And their job is to help students with their academics. So it's not necessarily like a tutor service, but they host different workshops throughout the year on various important things. For example, they host workshops on note taking. So helping you learn how to take notes in an effective way. They have a procrastination workshop. So helping you deal with if that's something that you do is procrastinating, they help you give some tips and tricks to help with that. They also have workshops on being able to pay attention in class, different study methods or different study habits as well. So really, they offer lots of support in terms of how to help you become the best student that you can be. And they're always open for drop-in hours as well if you just want to go meet with someone and maybe chat about something that you've been struggling with. So there are so many different supports available to you, and I really encourage you to take advantage of them.
That is really amazing to know. Thank you so much for that. And there are a lot of questions asking also about the admission process and how can they apply to this university. So let's talk a little bit about that. What does the admission process for international students look like?
Yeah, these are all really great questions. So admission to Carleton for most of our programs is going to be solely based on your academic performance. We do have a few programs that are a bit different, which I'll talk about in a minute. But for most of our programs, including engineering, journalism, our Bachelor of Arts, science, health science, computer science, cognitive science, most of our programs we will base our decisions solely on your grades. And the grades that we're looking for are your grades in your final year of high school. So for most of our programs, you need at least a 75% average or higher. Some of them will require you to have an 85% average, some of the more competitive programs. And then each program will have specific prerequisite requirements. So for example, if you're interested in going into computer science, you need to have taken math in your final year of high school. if you're interested in, the Bachelor of Arts major in psychology, you need to have taken English in your final year of high school. So each program has some different requirements. But the thing that is common amongst all of them are that you're going to have at least a 75% average, if not higher. And it really is your grades that we're looking at. Now, there are a few programs that require a little bit more than just your grades. So, for example, our architecture program, social work program, industrial design, humanities, information technology. I think I've covered most of them. Those ones require, and our Bachelor of Music. Those ones require a portfolio. So we will assess your grades for admission, but then we're also, each program has a slightly different requirements for the portfolio, but most of them will require you to either submit a reference, probably a personal statement, so what you're looking for or why you want to do the program, and then some of the more creative design programs will also require you to submit some pieces of work. So, for example, architecture asks you to submit some drawings. So we do have all of this information on our website, and I will again send my email here in the chat in a little bit. And if you're not sure or you have like questions about the specific program that you're interested in, please send me an email and I'd be happy to chat about them with you. One more point that I'd like to make about admission is that students sometimes need to submit an English language test. So for those students who have, your first language is English, maybe you're studying in the United States or the UK or a country whose country whose language is English, you do not need to submit a language test. But if you are studying in a country and you have not been speaking English, or you are not studying in a fully English curriculum, then you may be required to submit a test. We accept IELTS, we accept TOEFL, we accept Duolingo. Those are the three most common ones that people usually like to do. So depending on what your background is in terms of English, you may need to submit an English test as well.
Great. So thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for talking about the English language proficiency tests. And also you did tell the students a bit about the general documents and the prerequisites and all of that. So that's really great. So where can students apply to Carleton University?
Sorry, I forgot to answer that part of the question. So you actually have two choices on how you want to apply to Carleton. Number one is you can apply directly through our website, which is very straightforward. It takes about 10 minutes to fill out the application. You fill out your personal information, your background information, your academic background information, and then you can upload your documents right there on the platform. The other option, and it's a $100 Canadian dollar application fee if you're applying through our website, and it gives you two choices, so you can apply to two different programs. The next option is through the Ontario University's Application Center. Now, I will only recommend that you apply through this platform, OUAC, if you are applying to more than one university in Ontario. The reason for that is because it's more expensive to apply through OUAC, but if you are planning to apply to another university in Ontario, this is a really good platform to use because it's just a common platform. You don't have to send your documents to each school that you're applying to. You send your documents one time to that platform, and then the platform distributes it to each school that you're applying to. It's very nice because it has all of your information there in one platform. The application it's about 166 Canadian dollars, but then there's some additional fees as well. So it ends up being more expensive than if you applied directly to Carleton. But that being said, both ways are absolutely fine. We don't have a preference as to how you apply. We will accept your application no matter which way. It's just kind of about what schools you're applying to and how many of them.
Great. And before we move on to talk about the scholarship opportunities, because there's a lot of students asking about that. Can you tell the students about the deadlines? When can they apply to Carleton University?
Yeah, so April 1st is the deadline for international students to apply. If you are slightly later than that, we will still accept your application. But the reason we say April 1st is because if you're applying after April 1st, it is not necessary. Like some of our programs may be full. So if you're applying to a program that is limited enrollment, doesn't have as many seats as some of the other ones, you may not get a spot. So really, it's in the student's best interest to apply by April 1st. And the other reason why it's so important is because we want you to have enough time to apply for your study permit. That's really important. And the processing time can take quite a bit depending on where you're from. So that's why we recommend April 1st. But if you realize it's April 2nd and you're like, oh no, I haven't applied yet, don't worry, you can still apply and we will still accept your application. We just really encourage everyone to get their application in by April 1st.
Amazing. So a lot of the students are really very curious to know about this. What are the scholarship opportunities for international students who are applying?
I think this is the question I get most often is scholarships. So we have two types of scholarships for international students. Number one are our entrance scholarships. These are automatic, meaning that you don't need to apply for the scholarship because when you apply to Carleton, you will be automatically assessed for this scholarship. If you have an admissions average of 80% or higher, you will for sure get an entrance scholarship. The higher your average is, the more money you will receive. So our scholarships, our entrance scholarships range from $1,000 to $4,000. For example, if you have a 90% average, you'll receive the $3,000 scholarship. These scholarships are renewable. So that means that as long as you can maintain an A- or 80% average while you're at Carleton, we'll give you that scholarship money each year. So it ends up being, let's say you receive a $4,000 scholarship and we give it to you every year, it ends up being a total of $16,000. So that's something that's important to know. The other type of scholarship that we offer is called a prestige scholarship. These ones do require you to apply for one. So you are not automatically assessed. You need to submit your application for a prestige scholarship if you want to receive one. They're quite competitive. We give about 25 of them out per year, and they range. So the lowest one I believe is about $5,000, and the highest one is about $12,000. So they're worth more than the entrance scholarships. For those ones, we're looking for students who have a 90% admissions average or higher. And then part of your application, you will be talking about any extracurricular activities that you've taken part in. So that can be any volunteer experience, any leadership opportunities that you've had, different work experience. If you've been involved in your school, maybe you've been involved in student council, or you have been on a sports team, or you've played an instrument or been part of some sort of club, then anything that you've done outside the classroom can be added to that application. So those are the two types of scholarships that we offer for international students.
Amazing. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Emily, for mentioning that. And we have reached the end of the live for today. But guys, if you didn't have the opportunity or the chance to ask your questions today, don't worry. You can still get in touch with Emily after the live through her email here that is provided on screen. So please don't hesitate to do that if you have any questions. And Emily, would you like to give any final advice to the students about studying abroad or just studying in Carleton University?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say, I think it's so amazing to see so many of you here. I think that it takes a lot of courage to go and study abroad. And so I really commend all of you for looking into this, doing the research, and figuring out where it is you want to go. And I'm going to offer my email is there on the screen. Please, please, please send me an email. I'm always happy to answer your questions on email. And if you want to set up a one-on-one virtual meeting, I'm also happy to do that as well. So please get in touch. And yeah, I just also want to thank Lean for having me here today. It's been so wonderful to get to talk with you.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily, for being here and for all the amazing knowledge and advice and information that you give the students. That was really very useful and informative. So thank you so much for that. And we really hope to see you soon again at the Student World Talks. Take care, Emily. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Perfect, guys. I also want to thank you once again for being here today because you guys were very excited and engaged, which is really amazing to see at the Student World Talks because this is exactly why we do it. So you guys can get the benefit from it. So thank you so much for being here. And hopefully, you guys can join us more. In the future as well for the future lives. I also do want to remind you guys that we do have an Instagram account. Please follow us there and comment and give us feedback about our content about what else you would like to see there. We would be more than happy to hear from you guys. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you soon again at the Student World Talks. Goodbye.